Hi, my name is Sissy, and I want to welcome you to my show, Getting Healthy with Sis. I am married to my hunky husband, Matt, and together we own a fitness and nutrition coaching studio in Lakeland, Florida called Restoration Fitness and Nutrition. We have 2 little boys, and I've been a nutrition coach for 5 years, helping countless people to revamp their lives and see amazing results implementing one healthy habit at a time. My passion is to help women just like me realize they don't have to be a victim to poor eating habits and poor health. Instead, through proper education and empowerment, they can take control of their health and live the healthiest and happiest life possible. As you tune into my show, I promise you're going to learn new things about your health. You're going to be inspired to take action towards your goals, and you're going to have a ton of fun along the way. So welcome back. Welcome to part 2 of our story of how, why, when, where, all the nitty-gritty details of why we started Restoration Fitness and Nutrition. The and nutrition part came later. It was Restoration Fitness in the beginning. So welcome back to part 2 of our story. So we're going to pick up where we left off.
From the carport.
From the carport, and kind of just walk you guys through where it started and where it is today. So we started, it was December 2018. We started in our carport with just the little bit that we had, and we invited all of our friends. We made flyers. Matt was like, we got to get a logo, and so you did what?
I created our logo.
And it's the logo we have today.
It is. It's crazy. It was on a website that I just got on and created the logo, and honestly, it just kind of stuck, I guess. I'd never done anything like that in my life. But I get a lot of feedback from people saying that they really like our logo. I'm like, okay. I actually thought I would rebrand it one day, and I've never felt like we've needed to. So it's been something that's kind of stuck and been really cool. So I shocked myself on that one, and it was done very quickly. Like, we needed to get something up. We made a little sign that we put on the wall outside of our carport.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And
we had a whiteboard out there.
We hung some of those lights, the little bulbs that you hang in a patio or something like that. We had those out there for the early morning class at 5:30.
So we had our first month was December 2018. And we had 10 people join us, 10 of our friends that trusted Matt. And they were like, yeah, dude, like, you're a personal trainer. Like, this is your passion. Like, you're awesome. Yeah, I'm going to come and, like, I'm going to join your gym. Like, I don't know if it was a gym then, but
it was a gym
to us, okay? And so we, like, the original crew, like, you guys are still out there. So Malia Nichols, who actually
Malia's one of the originals.
She just retired. She was a coach for us for a little while. She just retired, like, last month. But she was one of the original members. Dustin Whitney, Bethany King, Jordan Hill.
Claudia's in there.
Sonia Zubler. So anyways, but we just had, it was literally where we lived at the time was we lived in a little duplex near downtown Lakeland. And if you're from Lakeland, in those areas, there's like little back alleys behind every street. And so our carport was back there, and we'd get out there. We had a 5:30 a.m. and then a 6:30 a.m. And Matt would coach those 2 classes. I would feed our baby his 5 a.m. feeding, and then I would go out there and exercise with everyone. And we had a speaker that we had music.
And we were blasting music at like 5:30 in the morning.
We were blasting music, and Dustin Whitney was screaming his head off. I don't know how he didn't, like, I honestly, and I think that after the fact, we learned that, like, there's certain areas in the town that are, like, residential, and, like, you cannot run a business from them, and that was, like, where we lived. So, like, we never got any complaints. Like, no one ever said anything.
It was very bizarre because, I mean, the music, we tried to be honoring with it and not have it, like, crazy loud, and it was a speaker that was, like, literally like a little 12 by 12 box, but it put out enough music for everybody to work out, and we never got any complaint, which is very bizarre. And then, yeah, Dustin screaming all over the place. It was quite interesting but we never had any. I even went to houses beside us and was like, hey, like, do you guys hear us out here? Like, are we messing with anyone? And no, everybody was like, oh, like, I hear you every now and then, but I'm already up and not that big a deal. So it was actually kind of cool how that worked, but we did know we couldn't be there too long. So there was kind of like that thing. We need to work on getting out of there.
So Matt would do a 5:30 a.m. class, a 6:30 a.m. class, and then he would leave and go and work all day long. He would work from 8 to 5 or 8 to 4:30, 8 to 4. He'd come home. He was, at that time, was still working in the landscaping industry. So he was working outside with his hands. He'd work all day long, and then he would come home and I think we had like a 5:30 p.m. class. And so he would coach that. And so we did this in our little precious carport for 9 months. And I think in the first month, like I said, we had 10 people. I think we were charging like $90 a month. And so guess what? Like, we made back our $500 investment on equipment. We made it back in that first month. And we just kept going. One of our friends, Dustin, who was one of our original members, he introduced us to one of his friends who was in the Nashville area.
Best thing ever.
Like, literally,
hands down.
godsend. Ryan Stemper, we love you. But anyways, our friend Dustin goes, y'all, my friend in Nashville, like, he did what you guys are doing, and he's got this great gym now, and it's awesome that he started in his basement. He was like, it was like the dumbest thing ever. Like, he was like, he would have us doing jumping jacks and just the most random workouts. And anyways, but like,
it's like 1,000 burpees. Like, it was like the stupidest workouts ever.
And he was like, he has an awesome gym. Be like, y'all need to get connected with him. And so we did. We connected with them, and Ryan had started his gym about like 5 years in front of us, so he had more time, more experience, but it was really cool. So we connected with him, had a few conversations here and there, and then but this whole time while we're in our carport and we're just like doing this thing, man, we're just like, listen, we are doing it, like we have sowed the seed, okay? Like, the seed in our hand, we're doing it. And we knew from the beginning, we really, really knew that we have to, this is fitness, but the nutrition aspect has to come alongside this. Mm-hmm. And we've got to help our members with their nutrition, because we had seen the transformation that had happened in our own lives. And even when I was a member back at the gym that Matt was a coach at, which I talked about this a little bit in episode 1, where I kind of let you get to know me a little bit more. But when I was a member there, I remember the owner, he said to me, he said, Sissy, if you join this gym and you work your butt off 5-6 days a week, but you never change your nutrition, you're never going to see the body composition changes that you want. And so I was like, well, like, what do I need to do? So he kind of started coaching me, and I began listening to and applying what he had shared with me. And really, I didn't really at that time feel like I had any weight to lose. I did. But I, it's just my little confident self. But I did. I had picked up some bad habits, and what he began to tell me, I implemented and began losing weight, and was really, I had gotten in like the best shape of my life, even from when I was in high school. Anyway, so, I told Matt, we've got to help our members with nutrition. And so from the early stages, we began, helping people understand, like, hey, this is what you need to be eating. We were helping them with that. And, but at the time, our name was Restoration Fitness. That was what we were. And so, anyways, during this time as well, Matt and I were like, you know what we need? We need like a garage on someone's property that's got like a big door that, they'll charge us like really low rent, and we can just we can move in there. That can be our first location. And I mean, we even looked at some like places in strip malls and like even tried to like take tours of them. And now looking back, I'm like, what were we like? There's no way we could have afforded that. That was way premature. But
we were keeping our eye open.
We were keeping our eye open, and we were kind of talking to our friends, and had a lot of great support from our community and our friends really cheering us on. And so one night, it was probably so we started in December, so now we're in July, so about 6-7 months later, one night we were at our church for something, Wednesday night or something, and one of our friends, Jordan Hill, shout out if you're listening to this, he came up to us and he said, Matt, he was like, I know where your first location is going to be. And we were like, oh, yeah.
Second.
Oh, excuse me.
Location.
Second. He was like, I know where you guys are going to move. And we were like, oh, yeah, like, where is it? He was like, it's that like, garage out behind the church. And we were like.
I was like, you mean the little 10x10 shed that we park in front of every
Yeah,
Sunday?
We were like, what? And he was like, dude, it would be perfect. And we were like, huh? And so he was like, let's go look at it. And so we were able to find a key. And it was this, how big was it really?
It was 800 square feet. So it was like 20 by 40.
Okay, so it was an 800 square foot garage with a big door, like that went all the way up to the ceiling, big garage door. And the funny thing is that Matt and I had literally parked right next to that building for years. That's where we parked. When we go to church, we park by that building. And we had never seen it before. And so, like, we just never noticed it. And anyway, so we somehow get a key that night, and we go out there, we open this thing up, and it is packed. Probably, the ceilings were how tall? 15 feet? 15? I mean, packed to the ceiling with stuff. There was a wall in the middle that had been built, like, separating the building in two sections. And what had happened was it was a storage building, and the people that we had bought the church from, our church had bought from before, the previous owners had left all of this crap, all in the thing, sky high. And so anyways, Matt was looking at it, he was like, this actually would be a great place, like a good next place for us.
I looked at it and I was like, I thought it was way smaller than it really was. But when we opened it up and walked around it and stuff, I was like, that's actually a lot bigger. And immediately started getting like, we can utilize this. This is how we would set it up. Like, I mean, immediately. Mm-hmm. And so, but we got to get all this stuff out here.
Right.
So
well then, but first we had to get permission. We were like, this would be cool. This would be perfect. Yeah. But like, we need to, like, we have to ask the leadership at our church if they'll like let us use this for our business. And so we reached out to one of our friends who was on leadership, and he was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna say yes or no. And you're like, okay, well, we'll write up a proposal. We'll get it professional. We'll propose like our rent, what we're willing to pay for it, and da 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 da. And he was like, yeah, go for it. So we did the proposal. We sent it in, and they said yes. And we were like, yes! It was perfect. And it was so cool because it was literally like it was like the perfect next step for us. Like, it was what we were able to negotiate and pay for the rent was like perfect for what we could afford. And so we got the yes on the building, and then it was time to like clean it out. We had friends come. We had friends come and help us. We filled up like 3 huge construction dumpsters that day. Gutted that thing out, cleaned it out. John Axe helped you paint the inside of it. We got all the rubber flooring. We had friends that were like, I'm going to donate a rower, and I'm going to, we had like everyone came together, and we, invested in the equipment that we needed. And it took us about like a month and a half or so to kind of renovate the place. And we put a little kitchenette in the back. We had a sink and, it was a little fridge. Amazing
next step for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It did not have a bathroom. It did not have an office. It did not have AC.
Yeah.
But it was a great next step.
Right.
Which we were there for 2 years.
Yes. So we moved in, and we had this big party when we moved in, but we moved into Now, since then, people have been like, "Oh, the shed," and when people would say, like when we were there, and they would say, "Y'all are out in the shed," I was like,
You mean our gym?
"That is our business. Do not call it a shed. It's not a shed. Okay,
Yeah.
that's our livelihood." Anyway, so but it is. It's a shed. It's a big garage, whatever. So, anyways, we moved in and we had this great party. It was so fun. It was just awesome. And so we wound up, that was our location, and we grew our business from I think when we moved in there, we had 15 members,
so, yeah.
and we grew it to about 45. Now,
in that
time, COVID happened. And but another part of the story there is that during that time as well, once we moved into that, I remember talking to Matt, and I was like, we need to get in touch with Dustin's friend, and I actually asked him if he will for real coach us. We love fitness, we love nutrition, we love health. It's our passion. We totally love it, but we need some help on what do we need to be doing here as far as best business practices and things like that.
Yeah, and at the time he was just giving us advice, no charge and stuff like that, right. And we were like, we need you for a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so we started. That was probably back in
would you be willing to consider? So
2019,
yep.
We started and have been with him ever since. We love you, Ryan. I am meeting monthly. He's helped us so much. But so we were in the shed and grew our business there. We went through COVID. We had to, just like every other business in the world, we had to close our doors and move everything to virtual during that time. And so we kept everybody. We kept all of our members during that time, and then so we're at the end, nearing the end of towards the end of 2020. And Ryan said to us, he was like, "Okay, guys, y'all are doing awesome. You're doing great." But he was like,
still working a full-time job.
Matt was still working. Matt was working a full-time job and trying to grow our gym. And, it was crazy. It was crazy times. And Ryan was like, "Okay, I just want to challenge y'all. We're looking at these numbers. We're seeing everything. I really believe that you guys need to really consider Matt letting go of his full-time job and transitioning full-time into the gym." And I was like, yeah, that's just I'm always like, let's do this. Come on. And Matt's like, oh crap. Oh, that's scary.
Well, because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there goes that income from there to not much at all. How are we going to do this?
Right. So we deliberated on it, and we decided as a couple, we were like, yeah, we can't, we're not going to be able to grow much further with Matt working full time at another job. This is basically what our gym is going to be, if he can't give more of his focus. So we really deliberated on it, prayed about it, and we were like, okay, this is the next step. And so so it was January 2021 that Matt quit his job and was like, we're going in both feet. And
I will say too, that was risky, or that was scary for sure again, but it was the best for sure decision that we could have made.
Because then he was just able to pour totally.
And it showed pretty soon after that.
Yeah, and it was during that time that we were doing nutrition coaching. We had I had become a certified nutrition coach, and then we had partnered up with a really cool company called Healthy Steps Nutrition. We were doing one-on-one coaching, but it was during that time, I believe, that we were like, you know what, we are not just restoration fitness. We are restoration fitness and nutrition. That is what we do. That is how we serve people. And so we wound up changing our name, adding in the nutrition part, which is awesome. And we went full time, and it was a little bumpy, just a little bit bumpy, but man, we dove in and we started working with a really cool marketing team and just made an investment there and grew. And then towards the end of 2021, our business coach again came to us, and he was like, you guys are basically like maxed out in that building, and you guys need to decide, like, is this what you want, or are you wanting to like reach more people and impact more lives? And we were like, this is not what we want. Like, we want to keep growing and reaching more people. And so he was like, it's time to get another space. And we were like, again, my gut was like, yes. And then that's like big eyes, like, I'm about to have to get comfortable again.
But how do we do that?
Right. And I'm like, babe, we got this. It's right. If you can't tell the dynamic of our relationship, that's there it is again. But anyway, so then let's see. We're like, okay, so we start looking for places, and we found this place where we are recording. And at the time, the rent was going to change to be like 6 times what we were paying at the other place. And we were looking at our numbers, and it was like, yeah, it could, it's going to be really tight, but we've got to grow. Our business has to grow if we make this.
I would say it was more so like, we can't do this right now because of the finances. But it is time to take that jump.
Yeah. So we did. We decided. We found this place. It was great. It was like, yeah, this is it. This is going to be awesome. And so we signed the lease. I think it was on Christmas Day, 2021. We signed the lease, and then we were like, okay, like, we're now paying rent in both places. Like, we got to get the keys and like get this place transformed. And so from January 2022, we spent like the next 5 to 6 weeks. Okay. And granted, it's January. So this is like our busiest time of year with our gym, with people wanting to join. So we were like, I think we gained 14 new members that month, which was nuts. We gained 14 new members. And then we were also completely renovating our space. We were painting, everything. That was an insane
so
time.
Like from December to February, so those 3 months where it was, today I think about it, I'm like, that was a complete whirlwind. I don't even know how that happened, because we're gaining all these people in January because, the beginning of the year, and we want to take care of them well. We had to do it in our old space because the new space was getting renovated by us.
Yeah.
And our team. We have some coaches at this point now, and some members that wanted to help us do that here, which is amazing. They are awesome. But we were doing that around the clock, man.
Yes.
Taking care of people in the other gym, our current members, like continuing to get them going. New members, getting them rolling in the new space or in the old space, having them, and then trying to get our members everybody to transition over by February. I think Valentine's Day is what I said. And I ended up getting us in there a week earlier, which was great. But that was like 3 months of just true grit.
And once we got settled in, I was like, babe, I think we had ads running. I was like, turn the ads off. I need to like go to sleep for a little while, and I need a vacation. Like, I'm tired, because it was all hands on deck here for it was like 6 weeks, like all of January. But anyway, so, but it was really cool because once we got in this location, the way that we had grown in January, the numbers made sense. Like, it made sense. And that was just so cool and like reassuring, like, hey, you take that risk. Mm-hmm. And, you step out, and every time that we've had to do that, like looking back, that's where growth has happened. And we've been able to, reach more people. And it's really cool. So we got in this building. We had a great grand opening celebration, super fun. And essentially since then, our membership has doubled. Since then, I think it was either last month or the month before that we had 100 members. So that's amazing. Yeah. So awesome. So, anything else that you feel like is, yeah. Let's talk about that. But anything else about like the story of kind of the journey, any of the details that we didn't like hit on?
I think that kind of hits it in a nutshell.
So tell us this. Talk about when that day in church when like you like felt like the Lord, like it was just very clear, like this is the name of the gym. Like what did that name mean to
Yeah.
you?
So, when the Lord told me restoration, fitness at the time, now fitness and nutrition, I immediately knew what that meant. Now, I came from a gym too that was run by believers as well. And I was taught like kind of the way to really be a good coach, what that really looked like, what the investment looked like, what it really meant to meet people in, where they were. Um, I was taught that much better in that environment. And so when, when restoration came to mind here, I immediately knew that like, okay, this isn't just a fitness thing. And so I knew that like my heart was for people and to really meet people where they are, but to give them true light and life, not just through fitness, but you want to call it spiritual, you call it spiritual. But like in my mind, when I saw restoration, it was like, look, people have souls, and what's more important than just being healthy and taking care of ourselves is also taking care of your whole well-being, your heart, right, and your soul. And so I really cared about that. And so that was restoration as a whole. You're getting that side as well. Yeah, we want to restore people, not just physically, but spiritually and in their full being, so that you are able actually to walk in the fullness of what you are supposed to do, right. Which aids in that as well.
Yeah, and there's actually a quote. So when Matt and I in the early days, when we were just like, like I said, and like you can see, like health has always been such a big part like of our relationship and something that we're so passionate about. And as you continue listening to this podcast, you're going to learn more and more about that. But that was when we were talking in the early days of like starting a gym and helping people with their health. A huge thing was like almost this like injustice that I was seeing. Like there are so many people that their bodies are like breaking down and are broken down, and they have no idea like that, man, some like really small changes could come in and they could just tweak some little things and like their health can truly transform, And there was during that time that as we were just kind of dreaming and scheming at the beginning, before anything became actual, as we were talking about wanting to serve people in this way, there was a quote that was brought to our attention, and I was like, wow, that is so good. It's from a pastor in the 1800s. His name was Robert Murray McShane, and he died when he was only 30 years old. And when he was laying on his deathbed, he said this: God gave me a message to deliver and a horse to ride. Alas, I have killed the horse, and now I cannot deliver the message. And the horse was, of course, his body. And when I heard that quote, I was like, wow, like that is so true. I mean, I think, in like science shows, and even, you realize this by now, but Matt and I are Christians. And in the Bible, I believe in Genesis, it says that God shortened man's years to 120 years. Okay, this is in the book of Genesis. And human DNA, I don't want to misquote anything, but I truly believe that I've read somewhere that human DNA, that it's the lifespan is 120 years. Like that's what our DNA says. And so when we are dying and we are getting sick and broken down, at 60, 70, 80, like, like, are we actually like really shortchanging our lives? And so like a huge part of our passion is like, we want to help people realize like, you don't have to be a victim of that. Like there are things that are in your hands and at your fingertips that you can do to really transform your life so that you can live life to the full. so that you can do what you have been put on this earth to do, and so that you do not have to be sick and broken down, feeling powerless and not knowing what to do, and almost feeling like this is just how life has to be. Like, it does not have to be that way. It's not normal for you to be sick and broken down at 40 years old or whatever, and we've all got different DNA and different lifestyle and different things that have happened, but our passion is to be able to come alongside people and give them the right information and empower them of, hey, you can do something different and you can actually feel better. Are you a busy mama who wants to be healthy while also feeding your family healthy and balanced meals, but you find that every week you have no time for planning and cooking? Well, as a busy mama myself, I feel you and I know exactly where you are. And that's why I have created a special recipe guide just for you. It's my Instant Pot Chicken recipe guide. And in this guide, I'm going to show you how to make one big batch of chicken from your Instant Pot. And then with that chicken, you can make 3 delicious and healthy meals that your family can eat on all week long. That's right. There'll be enough for you to have meal prepped lunches and dinners for you and the whole family. To get this free guide today, go to gettinghealthywithsis.restorationfitnesslkld.com. I'll say it again. That's gettinghealthywithsis.restorationfitnesslkld.com. We believe that a human being is body, soul, and spirit, and we want to impact the whole person. We don't want to just meet you physically. We want to impact your life for the better. And being here in Lakeland, I know Matt and I have discussed what's our vision. We want this place to be truly a different experience. Because yes, you can work hard and you can get in shape, but if your heart is broken or you are depressed, it doesn't matter. Again, we are a whole person. And so our vision for restoration is that this is a place that anyone can come to, no matter your age, your fitness level, whatever. You can come here and we're going to meet you where you are and serve you in the areas of your health that you need. We're going to coach you. We're going to coach you in your health and in your physical fitness. We're going to coach you in your nutrition. If your heart's broken, we're going to meet you where you are. We have prayed for many people in this place and in the gym and outside of the gym. And so it's really been neat to, have a place and be able to touch people's lives and to meet them in the fun area of fitness. The nutrition is fun, but, it's a lot more fun to get a good workout in than to stay disciplined on your nutrition day in and day out. That can kind of get tough sometimes. But yeah, so anything else that you want to add as far as our mission, our purpose, our vision here in Lakeland with those we get to serve?
Yeah, no, I think that basically sums it up. Restoration is a big word for sure, and what comes with that is means a lot to us, and it's not for us; it's for y'all mostly. So
yeah.
It has much more meaning than just fitness and restoring our bodies in that way. So, yeah.
Well, that concludes our story, all the behind the scenes of what you see today, okay? Maybe you're a member here and you're listening to this podcast. I hope that you have enjoyed hearing a little bit more, learning a little bit more about Matt and I and our story. But if you are someone who is not here in the Lakeland area, or maybe you are someone that's looking for a gym family, or you're looking for people that can come alongside you and coach you and help you truly to enter into better health, that is not just a fad for right now, but is health for a lifetime. If that's you, I want to encourage you to visit our website at www.restorationfitnesslkld.com. You can learn a little bit more about us. You can also book a free intro. We would love to meet you, love to sit down with you, have a conversation with you, and get to know you a little bit more and see how we can come alongside you and serve you on your health and wellness journey. So that concludes this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.